Hi, I'm continuing my Love Month vlog series and talking about the influence of the all the various positive feelings within romance and love and how these feelings influenced my socialization during my preschool and elementary school years. In my last vlog, I left off when I was 8 years old and in third grade, and I was talking about how amongst my peers, I was the last one to continue pushing. I was the last one who was continuing to push the girls have cooties, I don't like girls protection mechanism to protect myself from the various fears associated with sexuality and with being seen as a weak, effeminate guy. So, after third grade, I concluded I concluded that I wouldn't be able to continue with that application, and that if I did, it was because it was getting old. People didn't find it amusing anymore, and so I saw that people would like see into me, and they would see the fears and insecurities that were driving me to force out this ostensive lie. And so what I did was I stopped doing that and I took those fears and I put them in the closet of my life. I just I didn't give them any attention. I I didn't talk about them with anybody. I just kind of kept my head down and avoided situations where those 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 points might come up. And what's interesting is that even though that those fears played such a primary role in my life over the previous years, after a year of keeping my head down, I I kind of forgot about them because I never considered them. I only wanted to consider the positive things that I wanted to get out of this miserable world. The I would only I would only willingly give attention to uh, experiences of superiority as love and power. And this took the form of me thinking about crushes that I had, thinking about the girls that I was attracted to, and creating a whole emotional experience just in my mind about these girls that I'd hardly spoken to. And then also imagining myself, daydreams, fantasies about me being powerful and in control and like impressive, amazing kind of stuff. And so that those fantasies and those desires for love and power and the the means through which I would place myself in the social context to gain experiences through which I could get more of and live out those fantasies. Those that became like my idea of myself, and that's how I forgot about those fears and And because even though those fears still influenced me and resulted in me keeping my, uh, I mean, because I had a lot of, like, a big part of my life was the crushes that I had on other girls, but I kept that a secret from everybody, from my friends, from my family, because of those fears. But then at the same time, because I was ignoring those fears so much, I didn't really connect the dots and see what was going on in me. And it's like I wanted to move farther away from the skeletons in my closet through living out those experiences and like making that seem as real as possible, making it seem as much as possible as if those fears don't exist by going more into power and romance. So the way things worked that age was that you exist in a social construct, and within this overall social construct, you have a tribe or a country, which are your friends. And that's like your protection from the rather ruthless nature of this overall social dynamic. And because girls are more often than not members of girl tribes or girl nations, and you don't have access to them in the context of your your safety structure. If I was to go and seek a relationship with them, I would have had to do so by extending myself out into dangerous and unpredictable territory in order to try and make contact with that girl. It's like extending out my supply lines to another village. But when other guys see me uh, trying to get with this girl, I was aware that they would likely go into experiences of jealousy and inferiority because why isn't she talking to me? And so not only by making contact with the girl do I put myself in a very vulnerable position, but I attract attacks, which would take the form of other guys, maybe even other guys acting together in a team, trying to cut my supply lines by making me look foolish and potentially convincing the girl that I was foolish, and then I would be rejected. And not only then did I lose the opportunity to have a relationship with this girl forevermore, which meant at that age, forever meant like the next 6 months. But in addition to that, I was forevermore also lower on the social scale because it's almost as if I had to gamble my resources through making this connection with this other village, and I lost the gamble through having my supply lines cut, and I lost all the wealth that I put into making that supply line. And I feared that rejection, humiliation a lot. But within that fear, that also compounds the desire for that relationship to happen because, okay, so you take the gamble, you make the connection, and the girl doesn't reject you. Great. But that's only the beginning. Now you have to run back and forth that supply line through enemy territory until you and the girl become familiar enough that you decide to make a relationship together. And when that happens, then it's seen as like my entire life would change because like I would be safe. It's like home base, a fairy tale castle, a fortress that would protect me from all the attacks that I feared so much. Whereas before, those attacks had like complete power over me. Once I establish this relationship with a girl and she likes me and I like her and I have that feedback as the primary fuel for my idea of myself, other people attacking me, I could then suddenly become able to, I'd be like immune to it. All of a sudden, it would be like arrows bouncing off the walls of my fortress because it's like you can say, I don't care what you think because I have this relationship telling me that everything's fine. It's like, so that safe, I mean, in addition to all the exciting romantic feelings and experiences within crushes, that safety was like kind of like a divine salvation. That's how I saw it. And so I desired that a lot, but I was so scared of having to make that, having put myself in a vulnerable position like that I really never considered doing that or never even really looked into it because I was so scared of being attacked by other guys. So what I did, I wanted it and I was gonna go for it, but I wasn't gonna do it that way. And I um, came up with a plan to get my relationship, which I will go into in my next blog.
Love follows sorrow. What brings tomorrow? When I love you, I start to fear you, but it's only me.